And so, yeah, we've got one more guest organizer and one more awesome act for you today. We will now get Kiernan Majerus-Collins from the Lewiston Democrats up. I'm just send him in. So I want to take this moment just sort of to shout out to all the Democrat clubs around the country. There's county party Dems. Every county has a Democratic Party, I learned. And I'm actually an alternate for my county's Dem Party now. And there's a lot of hard work that goes into making endorsements and coordinating with local campaigns. So shout out to that work from Democrat clubs like the Lewiston Democrats. So Kiernan, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, my pleasure. I'm really happy to be here.
So one of the things, I got a chance to chat with you a couple of weeks ago, and one of the things you educated me about that I'd love for you to tell folks about more now is how Maine has this unique, for now, ranked choice voting system. And how that's already being applied in some cases, and in other races, it's more contentious. So could you give us a rundown on what's going on with ranked choice voting in Maine?
Oh, yeah, sure. I'd be happy to. So most of the country uses first past the post voting, but here in Maine a few years ago, we adopted ranked choice voting for our federal elections and for all primaries. Ranked choice voting, for those who are unfamiliar with it, has been used in other cities in the country to elect municipal officials, including San Francisco. But Maine is the first state to adopt it on a statewide level. And rather than voting just for one candidate, you rank the candidates in order of preference. And then what ultimately happens in the counting is sort of an instantaneous runoff effect, where candidates drop off as they receive the least support until one candidate emerges with a majority support. So the first time we actually saw this in play in an election in Maine was in 2018, and that year, here in the 2nd District, we elected a Democratic Congressman, Jared Golden from Lewiston, via that ranked choice voting method. Both he and his Republican opponent, incumbent at the time, Bruce Poliquin, received less than 50% of the first choice votes. Two independent candidates combined for about 8% of the vote. And when those votes were redistributed, Congressman Golden ended up becoming Congressman Golden. So, this year we're going to be using it for sure for the United States Senate race, where in addition to Speaker Sarah Gideon and the incumbent Susan Collins, there are also 2 independent candidates who are likely to end up making the difference in the election. As in addition to that, the Maine legislature earlier this legislative session adopted ranked choice voting for presidential elections. And it was supposed to be going into effect in November. There's currently a court battle about whether we'll be using that in November to determine our presidential outcome in Maine, or if we'll be having a referendum to determine whether we use it in 2024. And that's still pending in front of the Maine Supreme Court.
So it sounds like folks will either be able to vote for president ranked choice in Maine this year, or they'll be voting on whether they can vote for president ranked choice in the future.
That's exactly right. But either way the presidential question goes, it will be in effect in that Senate race, and would be effect in the congressional races. But in both of those cases, there's only 2 candidates.
And then, with the time we got left, just you're part of the Lewiston Democrats, involved in local politics. Are there any other candidates or issues locally that your club is supporting that you would want Maine voters to know?
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to give a pitch for some of the folks that we're supporting here in Lewiston. Obviously, our party is intensely focused on re-electing Jared Golden. He's one of our own, and he's done a great job during his first term in Congress, holding a very Republican district. And then we also have some state legislative candidates locally who are doing a really great job and should be returned to Augusta. Representative Jim Handy and Representative Heidi Brooks are both facing tough races from Lewiston, and we want to see them succeed as well. And then obviously, if we do end up with this ranked choice voting referendum, we strongly encourage voters to support ranked choice voting, which paradoxically will mean voting no on the potential referendum. So those are the pitches I would make for us here in Lewiston.
Maybe for those that just aren't familiar with ranked choice, what does that really end up meaning for the constituents, for those in Maine?
Yeah, I mean, you can get into the sort of electoral math of it all, but the really important takeaway for folks who are watching today is that they can, in a ranked choice election, they can vote their hopes and not their fears. So if you're somebody who maybe doesn't love the outcome of a Democratic primary and you see a left-leaning third-party candidate that you'd prefer, you don't have to worry about electing the Republicans if you rank that person first and the Democratic candidate second. Conversely, we may end up in a situation as happened a couple of years ago in 2018 when Angus King was running for re-election as an independent in Maine, and Democratic voters who wanted to see a more progressive option were able to vote for the Democratic candidate first and Angus King second without risking the possibility of electing a Republican. So in the Senate race, obviously we have Sarah Gideon, who's fantastic, and I'll be ranking her first. But we also have a left-leaning independent named Lisa Savage, who I'm personally going to rank second. But the great thing about ranked choice voting is that if you want to flip those, it doesn't matter. You can vote for Lisa Savage first and Sarah Gideon second, and it'll still end up helping us take that Senate seat back.
Awesome. That is awesome, and I am jealous. I really hope that we get ranked choice voting in a lot of other places, if not universally, because like you said, it would be really great if everyone was able to vote their hopes and not their fears.
Absolutely.